Hi folks, and welcome to my new series called Drawing Chatter. And basically it's where I'm currently working on a drawing, and I just chat about the many different things that either are happening within the art and drawing community, or things that I'm currently experiencing that I want to talk about in my own practice. And so today I just wanted to talk about why I decided to start drawing again after moving across from being more of a graphic designer, really, or a digital artist. I suppose I haven't really, or didn't really ever stop drawing. I just stopped the amount of drawing with pen and paper, and I really wanted to get back into that and talk today a little bit about for and why those reasons I have. Many different reasons really, but I think ultimately they're the main core sort of features which I'll kind of touch on today. So let's get started. The first one really is I wanted to move away from computer software, again for many different reasons really. I think how the current market is developing in computer, especially graphic and art software, I wanted to move away because I felt like that I wasn't in control of my tools anymore. And by tools, I mean the actual software itself. The constant kind of fluctuate of ownerships and the constant kind of changes of and adaptations of software and updates, restrictions, buy only kind of services, contracts, memberships. I just felt like that I was becoming less and less sort of connected, and every time I wanted to do something, it just felt like that it was becoming more and more of a task. So with that being the case, I decided that I wanted to move away from the software. Obviously I'll still probably use some of it, but if I can do 90% away from the computer, then that's my kind of current goal and aim, and sort of target for the next few years really. I know that lots of other artists, illustrators are actually using it constantly still, and they probably will. I'm not saying that you have to stop. I'm just saying at my kind of current position and moment in life, it's the right thing for me to do, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So to cut back on my software usage, and that then has a knock-on effect from my computer kind of usage as well. As I'm kind of nearing my 5 decades on Earth, you become a little bit more older, and your body starts to not play like it used to do when you were a lot younger. And I found myself feeling more and more uncomfortable sitting at a traditional kind of computer desk. And this drawing board that I've got here at the moment is a kind of temporary setup, but a really comfortable sort of position to be at. And I'm really kind of enjoying the flexibility that it's allowing me to have at this moment. And so, yeah, and also in the last couple of years, I've become eyeglass wearer. So my eyes have become a little less sharper and keener as they once were. I don't know if the computer screen has had a detriment on that over the years. You know, I've been kind of like looking at screens since the early 80s, really, since I became a computer game, sort of avid computer game sort of fan. And then obviously moving into my graphic design career for many years, it's a constant looking at screens. And yeah, I just sort of have started to become a little bit jaded by that. And so, yeah, moving away from the computer is a real nice feeling to have. Even, even though I kind of set up my home studio near a window, so I have plenty of natural light. I can look out of the window in my location as looking across open fields. But I still feel restricted and uncomfortable in my position. And I know that you can get lots of different desks, and standing desks and tilting desks, and desks that kind of are motorized, that move up and down to really help with the ergonomics and structure of your body and sitting. But I still find that the comfort from sketching maybe in a sketchbook at your at your most comfortable position. So whether that be in an armchair, in bed, at this kind of temporary setup drawing desk which I've made at the moment, which I'm kind of really enjoying. I'll probably show what I use at a later date in a future video. But I've got I can't remember if it was an A1 or A0 board. It's like a cardboard. It's corrugated, so it's really strong but very light. So you can set it up on a current desk, but very easily move it about because it's got no weight to it. So yeah, I'll probably get another one, to be honest, as a backup, because if anything happens to this, obviously with it only being card, it can't very easily get kind of damaged, especially with moving it about a little bit. But yeah, so, and I think kind of another reason why I started to draw again, especially by hand, was to feel that human connection. To have, I feel like that a lot of the hand drawn pencil and pen on paper has that very alive vibrancy, which kind of cartoons and illustrations tend to have. And I know, again, people will say that, yeah, you can still get that on a computer, on a tablet. Or I've used a tablet and I really don't like them. I really don't agree with them, as in the ergonomics just don't agree with me. And I know it's experience and it takes time, and but I've tried all sorts of different tablets and pens, and setups. I just don't like them. I just really don't like them. Nothing beats, for me anyway, drawing physically on a paper, whether that would be a pen or a pencil or inks or pastels or pencils, whatever medium you're kind of currently working in or on. I still find that pen and pencil has that aliveness, that kind of connection, and especially with everything now going AI generated, um, I feel like that connection and vibrancy and is lost a little bit. No matter how things look and how um, technology improves, and it will definitely. I still love that rawness of just working on a piece of paper. There's something very crude about it, but very, for me, fundamental to have that connection with your artwork. And you see that in a lot of the AI artworks, especially the videos that I'm seeing currently, in people. And yeah, they have improved vastly over in a short amount of time. But I've noticed if you really look at the person's or people's eyes in videos, even that gives a dead-eyed, soulless expression. You know, you find that the people are supposed to be looking at something and they're not really properly looking at it. They're kind of like looking through it or looking past it, and it just gives a dead eye, unreal effect. And that'll probably improve, like all of the other kind of artworks improved through AI. But I still feel like it loses that vibrancy, and that's why another reason, to move away. I think people will say, well, how do illustrators and artists stand a chance then against this AI? Well, our very kind of core and our very ability of our humanness, our human trait, is also our massive positive. That's our USP. And I think that'll be an important factor to play with and on in the future as well. Yeah, it's gonna develop, it's gonna progress. People are a little bit unsure and scared and uncertain of careers and jobs and even sort of hobbies. But our humanness and humanity, I feel, will always sort of strive to have that difference. For me anyway, that's only my kind of personal opinion. And why I feel like that I've kind of decided to move more and go back to basics. And also, one of the other sort of important facts for me is wanting to feel like I'm in full control of my materials. And that also then stems back to kind of like computers and software that I've been working with previously. And which I touched on, like the subscriptions and paid for services, and you're never fully in control of all of them. They can, and I think a lot of people have realized and learnt that, especially in the music industry and video games industry recently, where you don't own anything anymore and everything and anything can be very easily taken away from you. Whereas going back to the basics of just me, a pen, a piece of paper, it's a lot harder for people to take that away. You know, I'm just kind of like waiting for my big artwork moment to be censored. I can remember the very first post that I put on TikTok wasn't allowed. It was taken down, and it was an image of Homer Simpson laying down, relaxing on top of a Homer Street sign, because there's a Homer Street where I live in my hometown, and I thought it'd be quite humorous and amusing to go along and photograph. It's basically a Homer doll which I had, and I photographed the Homer doll on top of the street sign on Homer Street, and I thought it looked quite humorous and funny. But because when I uploaded it to TikTok, I gave it the title has given up, and I think TikTok's AI censorship thought that I was talking about maybe how I had given up or given up on life, and I just found that amusing in itself, that your artwork then becomes censored by some sort of bot because it doesn't understand the humorous kind of aspect of what you're trying to communicate. And so that you then lose control, and that's through the kind of materials. That's an example of losing control through the materials of someone, equipment as well, being owned by somebody else. Whereas, the pen and paper again is owned by me. Now, obviously, how I get viewers to see this to the final stage of publishing it and promoting it is always going to be difficult. It's always been difficult, and traditionally that's probably been through traditional media and exhibitions and word of mouth, and people physically going to have to visit and see an art piece, whether that's a bought publication, magazine for instance, or zine, or whether that's through a physical exhibition space or museum or something like that. But I think all of this kind of online social media influx and uncertainty at the moment that people are having, I've always said it's about balance, and you will have to balance a lot better in ways that you find your online and offline kind of life, and how your artwork fits into that. So yeah, kind of wanting to feel like you're in full control of your equipment and materials was a big important factor for me. And I also feel like that also, I mean, it depends on how you look at it and how people, class and position artwork. It's always going to sort of change over the years, and trends all kind of change and differ as well. But I feel also that having an original artwork, and by that I mean hand-drawn ink and paper, if you ever want to sell that original piece for a lot larger amount of money, you always have that option there. And I know that you can sell digital original pieces, because I've done that very thing myself, whereas I've created a digital piece of art and I've said that, this is an original piece. This is a one of one. So once this is gone and sold, there aren't any more, and I've signed it and I've made a certificate to go along with that. But I also feel like that, again, sometimes that misses it misses the original kind of feeling of that connection with the artist. I've actually physically touched this paper and kind of and the ink, and I've cared about the actual object itself, whereas maybe an illustration drawn on an iPad or a computer screen and then printed off and then sold as an original piece. Like I said, it's done. I've done it myself, but I also think sometimes it can also lose that special connection. I don't know, but what do you guys think? That's just sort of like maybe me trying to tell myself that what I'm doing is the right thing that I'm choosing. Maybe it's a completely wrong thing of me to go down this route at this moment in time. But I think things definitely need to have to change, and I feel like that the AI tech world isn't really changing for the better of the artist. So we really have to take more control and take some power back. And I think that for me, this is just the way that I'm going to take that power back. Like I say, it might be the wrong thing to do. It might be the wrong direction. But we will see. Yeah. And lastly, I think that I've decided to start drawing again because for me it gives me a new perspective of not kind of, like I said, I've kept drawing through all of my career from when I left high school 1993 up until 2014 when I stopped for an 8-year break, which you can see why I took that break in a previous video. But I wanted to explore a kind of style of my own and explore my opinions. My artworks have always been much kind of like social commentaries, and I feel that I can do that through this in a way, like in a better way than I have been doing, and from all those examples of which I've just given of why I've chosen to do that. But I want to explore now a more specific theme. I call them kind of like horror cartoons that I'm currently working on, or dark humor illustrations, because they're very much horror influenced, but all from a very social commentary aspect of real life. And yeah, I'm really kind of enjoying this approach and direction at the moment. So that's what I'm going to be working on for the next up and coming few years, I hope, and hopefully see how that progresses. So I'm going to end this video here so I don't ramble on too much, and hopefully that you've kind of listened to this point now. And if you have, and you like kind of humorous cartoons or illustrations or horror or manga-esque style influence, then give me a like or a subscribe. I'd be very much appreciative, And I do kind of reply and comment to everyone that subscribes. I try to anyway, and yeah, hopefully we can build a good strong art community together. So I'll see you later, and speak soon in another drawing chatter.